I asked if L were around and if L could speak. And I got a very instant answer that L is not around this plane of existence. L is not around this plane of existence. And that's just the way it is.
So, is there another that can tell us and help us sort out what is happening on our planet at this time, since we have so many different scenarios going on?
The scenarios which you would be best advised to concern yourself with are those which are hidden and not seen. For those which are written up on your communications forms, internet, your news, this and that and the other, they really do not matter. There are a few that do. Very, very few. Most of what you see come across your view screen when you are on your computer, not all, but much, is a distraction. All of that which you see on your television is a distraction. You read something, we are in this one's mind, and we will identify ourselves in a moment. And we are still here. This one, it just asked that if we were not of true light and the highest frequencies of love, that we be gone. And we are still here. And we would wonder if this one, Steve, would also hold himself accountable to be of the highest frequencies of love. He's working on it. That is not for you at this time. I just asked him if I were to be able to integrate all my missing DNA, etheric, into my physical form, and they told me that that is not for me at this time. Probably because I'm kind of imperfect.
All a little imperfect.
I have a picture in my mind, and it is a circle of beings. And at first I thought they looked like little Ewoks. You know, the little Ewoks in Star Wars. But it was actually a circle of beings who are encased in frequencies of light. I've been here before. When I asked the Council of 12, Galactic Council of 12, to show themselves to me, they showed me these beings, and each one was surrounded by light, different colors.
Is this the Council of 12?
We are here. This one, Steve, we feel we are with him. We feel that he is discomfort from his fall. There has been some earth beings of a great power who have chosen to renege on some deals that they have made. There are many earth people, as well as some of our own races, who are in communication with these, and they are indeed nastier than we can ever imagine, for it has never been a part of our races to be that negative or evil. We would like to open this communication. I'm the one with the silvery light, by the way. I just asked which one was speaking, all of them, and this being said they feel that it is not male, not female, very androgynous. And there is one being that is surrounded by a shimmering silver whitish light, and I believe that that's the one who is speaking. I just asked him for a name, said I wouldn't be able to pronounce it anyway. They always say that. This one has a very light, this is Steve, this one has a very light, upbeat. It is smaller in stature, however commands huge respect amongst the various councils. This one almost was able to grasp a name, and not quite. This one would like to turn this into question and answer, because it sees that my mind, then this is me talking, by the way, that my mind is not really focused right now. It's trying to mask, my mind is trying to not think about or mask the pain in my neck. So I'm just going to turn this over to the one with the silvery light, and you guys ask questions. And if I'm going to hear your questions...
To ask, both Susan and I are doing some, hopefully, energy work that has been helpful. It would be good to know if it is being effective, and I have been feeling that we've had so many entities that are doing this with us. Can that be verified, or is this just in our imagination, or in my imagination?
You wish to speak to members of the Galactic Council of 12? All you need to do is ask us, for we are some of the ones who are there with you, with Susan, and we would like to let you know, for your own knowingness, that there are others who have gotten this information from Susan's website, from Nancy's website, that there are others who have seen the validity of this type of work and are indeed meditating as well. We are multi-locational. We feel that this is of such importance that we and other members of our races have decided to join in. We are using you and the others who are diligent as focusing points for our own energies. For we are not capable of focusing more energy than you, or less. It is roughly the same. However, it is your focus and your dedication that has drawn our attention. You and Susan and the others who have begun are concentrating primarily, as we see it, upon the consciousness of the human race. This is appropriate and is achieving the desired effect that L, yes, we know who L is. L is not here. L is not here very often. We need to tell you about L. L is of the light, as you would say. L is not of this universe. L is affiliated with the creator God of a different universe. It is a universe in which the laws of physics, for want of a better term, we would tell you that the laws of physics in the universe in which L primarily dwells are not the same as the laws of physics in this universe. It is different to the point that we cannot completely describe it to you. We cannot describe it to you at all. It is different and alien to us as well, for we are of this universe. L was looking in on this universe when he contacted you before. L felt that perhaps they could make a difference by speaking through this one, and that it would then create the desired effect to then affect the energy of the multiverses, which would then have a indirect and direct, we cannot explain it for you would not understand, some of us do not even understand. Intra-universal traveling is reserved for a few. It is not something that our races do. Intergalactic travel within this universe, yes, we are all involved in that. Traveling to the universe where El dwells, there are no common points of reference. We can indeed leave this universe and enter other universes. A few of us. Not all races of this universe have the physical makeup that can stand the trauma of leaving a universe and entering a new and different universe. You must understand that there is a physical interaction that affects the physical form. Not all physical forms can do this and maintain life. El is not physical, nor has ever been, and can travel through all of the multiverses. El's job is in the universe, his primary domain. And we do not, in any timeline, we do not see Earth humanity traveling to this universe. Your physical form will not be able to withstand the internal pressures. There are a couple of the races of this universe who are achieving closeness of readiness to be able to travel intra-universal. It is enough to be multidimensional. This is what we can tell you about El. El was visiting here, saw an opportunity to give a bit of information, found the mind of this one, Steve, to be adaptable enough to where El could communicate, and then El has returned to the universe of his domain.
Very interesting, and thank you very much for that.
We know we digress, but we also know that this one, Steve, has wondered why El has not come to him at his home in Colorado. We come to him when he is in his hut. We communicate. We give him guidance. We know many of his guides who are scientists stationed aboard certain vessels. This, Steve, is why El has not come to you in Colorado. You should consider yourself fortunate that you ever heard of El and communicated with El. El does not come to you, this universe, very often. What happens on this planet will set into motion a chain of events which will have a far wider reach and scope than you can possibly imagine. It will affect all of the galaxies of this universe. And in doing so, it will affect this universe, and in doing so, it will affect other universes within the multiverse. This is a concept which is beyond even many of our races, although we are becoming more used to it and familiar with it. It is a concept which is totally foreign to your race, and there are only a very few minds upon your planet which can truly grasp the enormity of this.
But it feels right.
It is right, because it is what is happening. Enough about El. You may, if El chooses, you may hear from him again. Maybe we should say them. Maybe we should say it, although El is not an it. El is a universe-spanning consciousness. We are most primarily concerned what is happening in this universe,
As are we.
in this galaxy, in this solar system, on your planet.
Yes.
That is our primary area of concern at this time. However, understand that we are a council, and we are appointed members of our respective races who have been chosen for our respective talents to operate within a council forum type of environment. And that is why this council exists. It's being monitored, Steve. It is being monitored. You do not need to worry about it at this time. I just asked him about CERN. CERN,
Oh, CERN.
the Hadron Collider. Other questions? Did we answer your question,
Oh, very much.
Verona?
Yes, thank you. That's very helpful.
You have other questions? Susan, you have other questions?
Yes, I do. Can you comment on the information we're reading about the New Republic and General Dunford? And is any of this correct? Or are we totally being fooled by the cabal again? Loaded question, I'm sure.
So many things that are happening on your planet at this time are directly related, and indeed, we are looking for the words in this one's mind, we don't find them. We will say that they are directly related to the actions of a few, very evil human hybrids.
The cabal?
Specific families of the cabal. You know the family names, for they are in the news of late much. There have been deals made, promises made, and now there has been a reneging upon some promises made. This has the potential to affect the outcomes that we would like to see in a less than positive manner. There are negotiations which are taking place at this time. There is a movement to resurrect the old republic of the United States. The republic that existed when you had simply only 13 states. A republic that was ratified through the writing and issuance of your Constitution. The new republic that you mentioned, which we see in this one's mind, is oft talked about upon your internet, is an Illuminati plan to shift control from the right hand to the left hand. Do you understand what we say?
Absolutely.
Yes, we do.
Jacob Rothschild. We cannot say it in plainer terms. You have even read things about this on your internet, for we see this in the mind of this one, Steve. And you have questions because you do not know the truth and veracity of anything that you read. We would tell you that the plan to restore the old republic based upon constitutional law in the United States is being pursued by many whose ideals and idealism are of the highest sort. The new republic is from this hand to this hand. We see one of our very treasured friends and members, but who is not always here. And this one we call Punen. You, Verona, call Tom. This morning, Punen told you that how can anything so changeable be set in stone as to what is going on your planet. As of a couple of days ago, 2 of your 24-hour periods, there were talks going well between different members of your race. And in the family who wishes to juggle from right hand to left hand, the new republic reneged. And it is our policy to allow free will and to value all life. Therefore we will not, cannot, and never will cause the life of any being upon your planet, regardless of how negative or evil, to cease. There are races within this confederation who will be and have been contacted. The taking of life is required. They are not a member of this council, however they have their own councils, and they are very highly elevated races also. There are many involved with many specialties. Punen will not take life. We will not take life. There are other races who have taken life and will be called upon should that become ultimately necessary. We would tell you, a moment please. We have been in communication quickly with some of the other councils of what you are now calling the Galactic Confederation, and they have allowed this Galactic Council of 12 to speak for them loosely on a few topics. There is, as you know, for we see in your minds many of the conversations you have had with us and other guides and with each other, that you are aware that there is a number of differences of opinion upon the course of action to take regarding your planet's ascension, regarding your planet's potential disruption by this large heavenly body which is coming through your solar system, and any involvement in your potential revamping of a financial structure. Again, as Punen told you this morning, what is a given now can be changed in an hour depending upon the actions of a few. Many members of the Galactic Confederation, which is a assemblage of assisting races which have entered your solar system to assist in a transformation which will affect the universe. There is a severe amount of consternation amongst many races about the absolute debasement that members of a human race or hybrids can achieve. You have living amongst you on your planet a hybridized race of being. Indeed, we see in Steve's mind his conversation with Zeta, Frank. Steve, Frank is fine. He is a member of a race which has had different designs upon the planet of humanity. There are a number of this race of Zeta who have been able to look through timelines and discover that they do indeed need to come around and operate from a platform of love which is alien to their race because they are rather emotionless clones. However, their fealty to their reptilian masters has been fading, and there are a handful of them who strive to have higher ideals than the rest of the race. This one, Frank, was one of those. He spoke to you of the negative gene. The negative gene is something that came from AI, what you call archons. The negative gene has been placed within the 13 bloodline families upon your planet. Why these bloodlines? Because they are a mixture of the genetics of different races. And the mix was concocted by races from Orion, reptilian races. Your internet is now calling them Vlash, V-L-A-S-H. As an aside, we find it quite amazing at how quickly all of the ones who travel the waves of the internet will adopt new names, new information that may come from a single tiny little source. And the next day it is all over. This is not a bad thing. We find it interesting, for many of us are telepathic, and it is quicker than your internet. However, the results are the same. You have an information superhighway of electronic means that has the ability to change the thinking of large segments of population from A to B in the space of one of your 24-hour periods. Truly amazing. This is why it is so easy for those of negative intent to sway so many of those of positive intent through misinformation, false information, let out upon your internet in a fashion which makes people think it is coming from a good source. We realize that we ramble on here. However, we are hoping that we are not covering territory that you already know, and that we are able to provide some new insights to allow you to understand why it takes us so long to answer your question, Susan. One of the reasons it takes us so long to answer your question, Susan, is that the mind of Steve is indeed a maze. The other reason that it takes so long to answer your question is that it was a good question and very all-encompassing and requires information from every potential angle to fully answer. There has been a major player upon your planet renege on the contract. Negotiations are now underway with various star races who really, we would tell you, have no wish to be involved in these negotiations, for they have other things to do regarding the potential placement of this planet in the new solar system, of the new galaxy, of the new universe. They really do not wish to have to backpedal and deal with this kind of debasement that is surprising all of us. There have been races, we would tell you this, and we would tell you this at this time. There have been races who have recently joined this confederation, which is based indeed in your solar system of the Milky Way galaxy, outside of the solar system, outside of the Oort cloud, which you call the Oort cloud, or the Van Allen belt. There have been races who have recently arrived who have looked at what is going on, done a rapid analysis, and indeed have made ready to depart. For they have no wish to muddy their feet, we will say, in the absolute debasement of a certain handful of humans. Human hybrids, actually. There is much dissension within the ranks. Cornyn has told Verona this. Steve has told you this. We have told Steve this. We have been told this by other councils. There is a core group that is holding together with a fortitude which impresses many of the newer races, or many of the races who are newer arrivals, we would say it that way. And they are delaying departures and sticking around to, this one Steve says, watch the circus. We will use that term, watch the circus. Although we do not wish to debase the importance of this event by using a term, watch the circus, it is a very appropriate term at this time on your planet. So you see, what you read on the internet may be little bits of truth surrounded by deception. They may be little bits of deception surrounded by truth. It is for you to make the choice of what is what. Yes, your planet is due and will receive a full financial reset. Yes, there will be changes in the ruling structures. We see a variety of timelines, those races of us who have the ability to peer down the timeline. We see a few different scenarios. Some are more positive than others. If the timeline of the old republic being resurrected is to become the predominant reality, then your outcome will be indeed very positive. If the timeline of a new republic, and we do not care about the names of the figureheads, or the ranks. We do not care. We look down timelines. And then there will be a newfound independence financially of many of the races and countries of your planet. However, it will not be long before this hand releases and this hand then does this.
And the gold-backed currency is also part of that new republic from the right hand to the left hand plan.
And it is okay, because even this hand doing this, and this hand then wanting to do this, there are still many races here who wish to see this frequency jump, which you call ascension, take place for benefit of the galaxies and the universe and the multiverses.
And when you said the...
So it is not a given that this then becomes this.
Very good. And when you mentioned the planet, there are those who are here to see the planet and position her in a new alignment, so to speak. Is that part of the ascension?
This one, Steve, will be seeing a chiropractor, for he has really messed up his spine and neck, and he will require a chiropractic adjustment. Gaia, the physical embodiment of the energy in the entity Sophia, requires a planet-wide chiropractic adjustment. This one, Steve, has said this many times. It is still true. It is happening. One thing you need to understand: magnetic fields affect the human brain. You do understand this, for we know that you have little headbands with magnets that you wear from time to time when you feel that you are being negatively impacted by earth-based energies. As the magnetic poles continue their shifting, so thusly will the consciousness of the human race as a whole be affected. This plan is positive. The electromagnetic halo, the magnetic halo, we would not say electromagnetic at this time. The magnetic halo of the planet is shifting and crashing in upon itself in places where the North Pole and South Pole now exist, which is nowhere near where they used to exist. This magnetic field shifting is affecting the brains of all humans. Indeed, it is affecting the brains of all creatures that dwell upon your planet and within your planet. It will be assisting in the awakening of more people. Conversely, it will be assisting in the lightening up of many negatives who have had a stranglehold upon this planet. Opposite of that, the very few who refuse, for one reason or another, to capitulate will continue down their negative path until they will completely and totally implode. In other words, they will become negative to the point to where the pressure of the positive energy will literally disintegrate them. This is a scenario that we are looking at now. It is a scenario that we can deal with, for it will not be actually our taking of life. It will be a scenario in which the negativeness of certain lives will absolutely not be able to withstand the pressure of positive energy that they will be surrounded with. They will cease. They will implode. They will die. They will wink out of existence. It is this scenario that we are now looking into. We have a question to ask of ourselves. Does that surprise you? Mm-hmm. Actually, it is coming from this one, Steve. The question is, why would you, all of you beings of light, highest frequencies of love, want to continue dealing with this circus. This is me, Susan.
Yeah, I know, I can tell.
Because of the potential,
And indeed,
and because of the dreams that we have, that we can create what we want. And our intent to do so will make it happen.
and as we sense that Verona is speaking for herself as a representative of the human race, which indeed she is, more so than you know, Verona, please do not stop what you have been doing. So do we also think. For the potential for universal evolution is so great here that there is a core group of us who are not going to give up simply because you have some terrifically terrible negative beings upon your planet. The potential for universal change is so great that these negatives will not be allowed to stand in this way. And now we would tell you that these negatives also know that they are blocking the potential for universal advancement, for change, positive change in the universe. And they get many a backroom laugh about that. And were we of a race that did not value life, they would no longer exist. However, we cannot take life. It is not even will not. It is cannot. There are those who travel the stars in vessels with heavy armament and to go about freely taking life. Those of us who travel in vessels have powerful defenses. However, they are defensive only. There are those races of us who have weapons of defense that would boggle your mind, but they can only defend us. They cannot be used to lash out and take life. This may be hard for a human to understand, as humans take life regularly. This group of us wishes to see this happen because this group of us sees the potential for universal change, and this is why L pokes in his, we use Steve's word, this is why L pokes his head in. We would say this is why the consciousness of L materializes here from time to time, to see how things are transpiring. Have I answered your question?
Absolutely, thank you so much.
So
Great explanation.
we feel there are other questions, and our explanations are lengthy, but these questions that you are asking are encompassing so many different avenues, areas, circumstances. So in recap, we would say that even if a new republic is juggling from one hand to the other, and we also understand that you have read this on your internet. So we are not telling you anything that you have not already been exposed to. We are merely giving you confirmation. But we would tell you also that do not expect that all is lost and the sky is falling because of a new republic which juggles power from one hand to another hand. Because understand you that there are times when this control mechanism wishes to put over into this hand, and there may be things that will snatch it out and send the control mechanism down a different path, where the controller no longer has ultimate control. This is a scenario that we are looking into.
Thank you.
Do we wish to be involved in all of this? We do not. Absolutely we do not. We came to this sector of space because there was a planet ready and able, the planet, to jump through the frequency barriers, to create an energetic which would then spread around the galaxy and then into other galaxies and then into the entire fabric of your universe and change everything for the positive. For this particular universe is a universe of polarity. And we see in the mind of Steve that L has spoken about this at length. Positive and negative polarities do not end when you become a fifth-dimensional being. They do not end when you become a sixth-dimensional being. They lessen greatly when you become an eighth, ninth, or 10th density being. The potential for polarity is still there because you live in a universe of polarity. These things we do not know if you have read upon your internet, because there are things that the controllers of your planet do not wish for the masses to be known. Do you think that the controllers of your planet do not control the universe? Pardon me, this is Steve, he gets tired. The controllers of your planet, do you not think that they control your internet? Through the internet, they control masses of people that they could never have controlled before. However, their reins of control are indeed slipping, and they are slipping rapidly because the internet, you see, is neutral. It is only an information highway. The polarity can go either positive or negative. As more and more people awaken and talk to their neighbors, relatives, friends, loved ones, less and less are the negatives able to influence you through the information highway of the internet. We would tell you that there is a group of us who feel so strongly that you will achieve an extremely positive timeline, that we would stay away from our families and our home worlds for even longer to see this happen. And there are many of us who wish to return to our families and our home worlds. However, as star-faring races, we recognize and understand the full importance of what potentially can happen here in this solar system. And there is the other area of importance which we also know that you are aware of. The Draconian Alliance and the Archons must be stopped here. And they must be stopped here, preferably without the implosion of a solar system, for that would be destroying more life than we care to even entertain in our worst nightmares. But we would tell you that this has happened before, that there have been planets, entire solar systems, that were so infected with negative races that members of these other galaxies had to take treacherously serious action. We will leave that subject, for we wish not to dwell upon it. Indeed, we will remain present. Put this on. Please hang around a little bit, guys. Please, 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 please.